Headlines for this hour on VTV News. Party leader receives CEO of Warburg Pincus. And major event to celebrate 50 years national reunification. And Thailand backs ASEAN United Front on Tariffs.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 8 a.m. local time in Hanoi. You're watching VTV News. Party General Secretary THAILAND met with Jeffrey Perman, CEO of Warburg Pincus and co-chairman of the ASEAN-US Business Councils on Friday morning. The party leader affirmed Vietnam's strong commitment to creating favorable conditions for foreign businesses, including U.S. enterprises, to invest and operate effectively and sustainably. He also thanked the U.S. side for supporting Vietnam in resolving tariff issues and called for continued advocacy to boost bilateral trade negotiations. CEO Perman expressed confidence in Vietnam's investment environment, affirming Warburg Pincus' intention to continue long-term investment that contribute positively to Vietnam's development. At a reception in Hanoi on Friday for Jeffrey Perman, CEO of Warburg Pincus and chairman of the U.S. ASEAN Business Councils, Prime Minister Phie praised the fund's long-term presence and sustainable investment in Vietnam over the past decade and acknowledged its effort to expand operations in Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu and the country more broadly. The government leader expressed hope for continued U.S. support and cooperation to deepen the comprehensive strategic partnership, especially in maintaining stable and sustainable economic and trade relations, and expanding cooperation with U.S. investors in Vietnam. For his part, CEO Jeffrey Perman said U.S. companies strongly support Vietnam, especially at this critical juncture in the thriving Vietnam-U.S. economic and trade relationship. He affirmed that American businesses see Vietnam as a highly reliable partner and believe in the country's long-term potential. Under the chairmanship of Prime Minister Phie, the government convened a second legal theme session for April on Friday to discuss 5 draft laws for submission to the National Assembly 9th session. More to follow.
The 5 draft laws under discussion are amendments to the law on planning, the revised law on state budget, amendments to 7 existing laws, amendments to the law on enterprise, and amendments to the law on credit institutions. Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh emphasized that these pieces of legislation are crucial for creating breakthroughs in improving the institutional framework of the socialist-oriented market economy. The Prime Minister added that the government plans to submit 37 draft laws and resolutions at the 9th session of the National Assembly, a substantial volume of essential documents with far-reaching impact. He urged relevant agencies to complete these legislative proposals on time and with significant rigor to help unlock resources and boost productive capacity.
First, we need to concretize and institutionalize the party's guidelines. Second, it's essential to foster decentralization effectively, with proper oversight and resource allocation. The third is to simplify administrative procedures. Other important issues are to ensure strong coordination across sectors and agencies, invest in people and infrastructure, and use one law to amend multiple others for greater efficiency.
The Prime Minister emphasized the need for clear personnel, tasks, timelines, responsibilities, outcomes, and authority in lawmaking and enforcement. Draft laws must also clearly define key content.
All legislative changes must clearly identify what content is being removed, revised, added, or simplified. The decentralization must be clearly defined. The draft should outline different opinions and clearly present each viewpoint.
The Prime Minister urged ministries and sectors to quickly remove institutional bottlenecks to unlock resources, boost production, and drive development.
Vietnamese Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính met with Japanese Ambassador to Vietnam Ito Naoki on April 18th, during which he highlighted Japan's contributions to the recent P4G summit, embracing the growing comprehensive strategic partnership between the two nations. The Prime Minister called for deeper cooperation in science, digital and green transformation, tech transfer, energy and food security, and high-quality human resources training. He also urged Japan to expand next-generation ODA funding for key infrastructure projects like high-speed rail, metro systems, and nuclear energy, as well as closer coordination in the Vietnam Nghi Sơn refinery project. Ambassador Ito reaffirms Japan's strong ties with Vietnam and expressed support for enhanced cooperation across these strategic areas. On Friday afternoon in Hậu Giang, National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn met with local voters ahead of the ninth session of the 15th National Assembly. Sharing with voters, National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn said the upcoming National Assembly session, set to open May 5th, will consider over 30 draft laws and 20 draft resolutions, including proposed amendments to 8 articles of the 2013 Constitution. On the local front, he urged Hậu Giang to maintain momentum in development despite restructuring, setting a growth target of at least 8% for this year and aiming even higher in the future. Earlier, to mark the 50th anniversary of National Reunification Day, the leader presented gifts to 50 policy beneficiary families in Hậu Giang. The U.S. reciprocal tariff policies on countries including Vietnam is reshaping trade flows, prompting Vietnamese exporters to reassess and adapt their strategies. At a recent workshop on Vietnamese enterprises respond to U.S. reciprocal tariff, experts offer solutions to help businesses stay competitive in a shifting global market.
Following the U.S. announcement of reciprocal tariffs, a number of Vietnamese exporters were impacted. In textiles, a $1 million shipment now faces $610,000 in tariff, up sharply under the 46% rate. With average profit margins of just 5 to 10%, businesses are forced to raise prices, risking lost competitiveness in the U.S. market.
Vietnam has signed 17 free trade agreements, many offering tax incentives tied to meeting origin standards. This presents an opportunity to diversify markets, fully leverage existing FTAs, and reduce the risks of over-reliance on a single export destination.
The Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry noted that businesses with flexible organization, strong cost control, and consistent quality can maintain stable production. In addition to exports, the domestic market of over 100 million people offers significant growth opportunities.
Businesses should utilize the 90-day tariff delay to fulfill U.S. orders and explore new markets. Equally important is the development of domestic supply chains. Additionally, reducing costs and boosting competitiveness remain key strategies.
Our business has exported software to numerous countries, not just the U.S. IT companies must quickly align with the government's current priorities for science and technology, particularly Resolution 57 and upcoming resolutions on the private economy.
The U.S. reciprocal tariff policy presents a challenge for Vietnamese export enterprises. With a proactive and adaptable approach, businesses can navigate these challenges and potentially use them as a foundation for more stable future growth.
Vietnam is emerging as a trusted global voice in realizing green ambitions. As a founding member and the host of the 4th P4G Summit, the Partnering for Green Growth and Global Goals 2030 Forum, Vietnam highlights its commitment to building a greener future and bringing nations together to achieve it. At the summit, Vietnam also put forward key proposals focused on advancing science and technology, fostering innovations, and promoting digital transformation in relation to green growth.
The P4G summit has fostered many signing ceremonies worth hundreds of millions of US dollars and opportunities valued in the billions. Several initiatives aiming to boost public-private investment in green finance were also proposed. The summit considers this year's theme, Sustainable, People-Centered Green Transition, a strategic success.
It was amazing. We saw discussion between very large companies, presentations by smaller companies, by startups.
The government put the agenda, the futuristic agenda, to the world, and then inviting the startups, young entrepreneurs, and the new technologies to the platform.
During the summit, the P4G International Secretariat announced an additional $4.7 million in funding for 17 innovative climate startups.
At P4G, we connected with a Kenyan partner who purchased our product for trial on their farmland. Opportunities like this only come from international forums like P4G.
With around 1,700 delegates, P4G has even drawn attention beyond the forum.
The P4G initiative clearly reflects the ambition we've shared over the past 2 years. Our goal is to spark a global financial overhaul through deep reform of the multilateral financial system and more effective mobilization of private capital.
At P4G, Vietnam's party and state leaders sent a strong message to the international community about the country's commitment to green transition. This helped lay the foundation for the successful adoption of the Hanoi Declaration and the P4G Statement, fostering cooperation with multilateral organizations towards green transition and sustainable development.
During Friday discussions on the theoretical and practical foundation research to draft a resolution for promoting and adopting nuclear energy for peaceful purposes and serving the country's development in the new era, Deputy Prime Minister Nguyễn Chí Dũng urged the Ministry of Science and Technology to finalize and submit the resolutions for approval by June this year. The Deputy Prime Minister also emphasized that the process of drafting the resolution should align with international standards, particularly consulting the International Atomic Energy Agencies, and ensure it is tailored to Vietnam-Pacific conditions. Coming up next on VTV News, Vietnam Airlines to launch in-flight internet. And major events to celebrate 50 years of national reunification. Welcome back to VTV News. Now, Vietnam Airlines passengers will soon be able to surf the web. The national carrier is partnering with VNPT, Vietnam's largest telecommunication provider, to roll out in-flight internet service starting this July. The service will initially be available on 10 Airbus A350 aircraft serving key domestic and international routes. Passengers will enjoy a minimum bandwidth of 3 megabits per second, ensuring a smooth online experience throughout their journey. Vietnam Airlines plans to expand the service to its entire fleet by next year. This move is a significant step in the airline's digital transformation strategies, aligning with the government's push for widespread digital infrastructure and economic growth. As the National Reunification Day, April 30th, and May 1st holiday approach, many people are wondering whether any new sections of the North-South Expressway will open for use. According to the Ministry of Construction, over 220 kilometers of expressway will be ready for public use, connecting smoothly with existing operational sections.
Construction crews are working around the clock. A considerable amount of work remains on bridge expansion joint section, with only 10 days until the deadline. The teams are focusing on both meeting the timeline and maintaining project quality.
At the current stage, our team can handle the workload on this bridge section. Due to the seasonal weather changes, it becomes quite hot,
especially around noon, so we take an hour break at midday, then continue working until around 10 p.m., when the next shift takes over.
According to the Construction Supervision Unit, the remaining tasks, including the installation of signage and direction boards, require a large workforce to ensure traffic safety. This is a critical period to concentrate all efforts on completing the main traffic route on schedule.
The completion of the Bung Vạn Expressway's main route is now being counted down by day. All contractors have fully mobilized their construction teams on site.
The project investors representative from Project Management Unit 6, Ministry of Construction, confirmed that the main expressway route will be ready in time for upcoming holiday. However, finishing the entire system continues to put significant pressure on construction teams.
Approximately 90% of the traffic safety system has been installed, and the remaining work will be completed during the operational phase, ensuring full compliance with requirements for final acceptance.
This means that in just about 10 days, several expressway sections, including Bãi Vọt Hàm Nghi and Hàm Nghi Vũng Áng, will be ready for operation. By the end of this year, the North-South Expressway will provide continuous connectivity between Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City.
A series of major events will be held to mark the 50th anniversary of the liberation of the South and National Reunification Day. The announcement was made at a press conference on April 18th by the Central Steering Committee for the commemorations of key national holidays and historical events. The national celebration will take place at 6:30 a.m. on April 30th, broadcast live on VTV1. For the first time, the event will feature a parade of representatives of overseas Vietnamese. Leading up to April 30th, Ho Chi Minh City will host various events, including a 3D mapping performance, symphony concert, traditional and contemporary art display, a drone show with 2,000 drones and fireworks. A special art program featuring renowned artists will be held on the night of April 29th. The victory of the historic general offensive and uprising in the spring of 1975 was not only the result of the determinations and unity of the entire army and people, but also the direct strategic leadership of the Supreme Command. At the center of this command were the Politburo, the Central Military Commissions, and the General Command, with the General Headquarters serving as the center. It was here that crucial decisions and defining moments unfolded, guiding the nation toward final victory.
At the General Headquarters, located in the Thăng Long Imperial Citadel, over 7,000 days of work and 1,000 key meetings of the Politburo, the Central Military Commission, and the General Command were held to guide the resistance war against the U.S.
Each meeting reshaped the determination as the situation evolved rapidly. While Dien Bien Phu was fought with 5 divisions, 5 key army corps were mobilized to liberate the South.
In late February 1975, General Văn Tiến Dũng, Chief of the General Staff, approved the plan to attack Buôn Ma Thuột. The top priority was ensuring secrecy for the tank units crossing the river.
The regiment was tasked with opening a 6-meter-wide road, allowing vehicles to move at 60 to 70 kilometers per hour. After the liberation of Buôn Ma Thuột, excitement filled the air. Many believed victory was within reach.
What began as a large-scale battle in the Central Highlands quickly transformed into a general offensive and uprising when the opportunity arose. This shift was an opportunity for making historic decisions through a clear analysis of both enemy and Vietnam's own strengths.
At the same time, the Central Military Commission presented a special proposal. As preparations for the final strategic battle continued, efforts to liberate the islands and archipelagos should also proceed.
Each meeting reshaped the determination as the situation evolved rapidly. Forces from Military Region 5 and the Navy were tasked with taking Song Tu Tay, Nam Yet, Sin Tun, and Sun Ka. The islands were liberated on April 29th. A delay of just 2 weeks could have seen those islands seized.
55 days and nights of relentless effort to liberate the South before the rainy season, reflected in the Supreme Command's strategic brilliance, culminating in the 1975 General Offensive and Spring Uprising victory.
Vietnam television VTV is hosting a series of special events and programs on the 50th anniversary of the liberation of the South and national reunification. VTV1 will broadcast live the national-level celebration, including the Grand Military and Civilian Parade on the morning of April 30th. In addition, there will be special VTV programs, documentaries, and political artistic exchange events. Since the beginning of this year, the 7 p.m. News has launched a campaign themed 50 Years of Southern Liberation and National Reunification. Vietnam television has also ramped up numerous digital media campaigns with diverse content tailored to the preferences and habits of younger audiences. April 19th marked Vietnamese Ethnic Culture Day. On this occasion, the Vietnam Ethnic Culture and Tourism Village in Sơn Tây Town, Hanoi, offer locals and visitors the chance to experience a vibrant series of cultural events showcasing the rich traditions of ethnic communities from across the country. Hundreds of artisans and members from 16 ethnic groups who regularly reside and perform at the village, such as Mường, Mông, Tao, Cơ Tu, and Khmer, will take part in traditional festivals and cultural activities. Also, on today, a conference titled Summary of Coordination Efforts in Mobilizing Ethnic Communities to Participate in Activities at the Vietnam Ethnic Culture and Tourism Village is being held. The event aims to improve policies and encourage broader, more meaningful community involvement in sustaining and enriching this cultural model. Coming up next in War News, Thailand backed ASEAN United Front on tariffs. And U.S., Ukraine, Europe trilateral talk held in Paris. Thailand is ready to support the Association of Southeast Asian Nations ASEAN collective approach in negotiating with the United States over its reciprocal tariff on imports from countries in the region. Thai Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra made these remarks after talks with Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim during his visit to Thailand. The two leaders discussed how ASEAN can join forces to deal with the U.S. tariff hikes. The Thai Prime Minister emphasized that the bloc total populations of 670 million make it a huge market and a force to be reckoned with. She noted the issue would be discussed at the next ASEAN meeting, and Thailand is ready to support the idea of ASEAN joining forces for the benefit for all member countries. France hosted a trilateral meeting on Ukraine on Thursday. The event marked the first time the United States, Ukraine, and Europe sat at the same negotiation table since U.S. President Donald Trump assumed office in January. French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot emphasized that the meeting was essential at its aim to advance a shared objective of peace in Ukraine. For his part, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Friday warned the U.S. will abandon Ukraine-Russia peace efforts if it's not possible to end the conflict in Ukraine within days. Earlier, U.S. Secretary of State Rubio had a phone call with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on Thursday, in which the two sides agreed to maintain direct communication. Archer Aviation has revealed plans to launch an air taxis network in New York City in partnership with United Airlines. This initiative aims to revolutionize travel for residents and visitors by drastically reducing journey times to and from the region's airport in just 5 to 15 minutes. Archer brought a prototype version of its Midnight aircraft to mark the announcement. The Midnight is equipped with 12 electric motors and 12 propellers, capable of carrying one pilot and up to 4 passengers, along with luggage. Archer plans to roll out the service gradually with a limited number of vehicles in 2025-2026 then increase it significantly in subsequent years this decade. A wildfire detection company has demonstrated its first fully functional AI-based drone system for detecting, locating, and monitoring wildfires. In Germany, AI-integrated devices are expected to become a game-changer in early wildfire detections by improving forecast accuracies and enhancing response capabilities.
SilverGuard is a permanently installed fire surveillance drone system. The device demonstrated its capabilities by autonomously detecting the location and size of a controlled fire using artificial intelligence. This followed an alert from a solar-powered gas sensors installed in trees in the forest.
It provides ultra-early detection of wildfires within minutes from ignition using AI-driven sensors that are electronic noses, and they can detect fires much faster than cameras or satellites.
SilverGuard will use autonomous drones to fly to the location of a fire without a pilot being involved and delivering precise information about the size and threat of a fire. In addition, the drone captures infrared imagery and provides overhead view for firefighters to suppress the wildfire.
Our goal is to autonomously not just detect fires, but also to extinguish fires. That's our vision, that's where we want to go to. This will take us probably another 2 years before we get to that stage. But what we actually need to achieve is we need to detect and extinguish fires within 10 minutes from ignition.
SilverGuard can be deployed in vast forests, where monitoring is challenging, helping to minimize damage caused by wildfires. The project has received special attention from the European Union with a €3.8 million grant. The project's next phase will focus on fire suppression capabilities, exploring multiple suppression technologies, including acoustic wave fire suppression.
And now, as usual, let's continue with the weather forecast. And that's it for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch the program, you can log on to VTVgo.vn or download our mobile application VTVgo. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.